everyone, thank you for joining in with today's video. I hope that you've had a lovely weekend and a great bank holiday weekend. We've been having quite a few of those recently. Thank you so much for our lovely messages, and as always, we really appreciate all the donations that we've been receiving, so thank you so much. So today's class is going to be a sequence that is going to be really good for creating length and space in the spine, but also the entire body. That's why I think yoga is one of the best things. It just makes you feel so good, all the stretching out, all the different ways that you can move the body. And if we can feel really good in the body and create this lovely feeling of expansion, then that automatically has a really good positive effect on our well-being and our mind. So we will start off lying down. For today's class, you don't need to worry about a belt. But if you've got a blanket, block, anything that you might find will help you in the practice, then grab it. We'll come back and we'll start off lying down, and we'll talk a bit more about what we're going to be doing. So take time to come all the way down to the floor. And then just make sure, thinking about that theme of space and expansion, make sure that you've got enough room around you so that the arms can just move away from the body. You don't want them in too tight to the body. If they do want to rest on the belly, that's fine, but if it's okay, let them move away from the body just to create expansion, a little bit of space around the body and underneath the arms. And the legs, if the legs have lengthened, let them just move apart. Let them just release for a moment out to the side. Checking out the head, make sure that the head's not rolling back. Just gently tucking the chin in slightly to create automatically this feeling of just space as well behind the back of the neck. And we're allowing the eyes to close. We're starting to tune in with how we're feeling as we come to today's class. And we might be having thoughts and things that just pop in and out of the head. I always say that our mind's a bit like a monkey mind, but we use our practice, our focus, our breathing to start to slow down a few more of these thoughts. So just be aware of your breath, and without changing anything, first of all, just notice where you can feel your natural breath in the body. So you might be feeling it by actual movement. You might be aware of certain parts of the body that are just gently expanding, moving slightly, and they might be the most subtle movement. You might be aware of just where this energy is going to with the breath, where you're feeling right now. And then we'll start to breathe in and out through the nose. And remembering this is not a forceful breath. I always say this in class because you don't want it to be a forceful breath. If it's forceful, it's just going to create more tension, maybe tightness. You want to work the breath, but also allow the body to relax and just let that breath move into those spaces a bit more. So we'll just spend a few more rounds just simply being with the breath. And for today's breathing practice in the class, we're going to be looking at the 3-part breath. And that's going to be really good when we come into that breath as well. It's great. And when we come into some of our twists today, that you might find that that's helpful where we've worked that breath and been able to use it in the body. You might be able to use that in your twists and also other poses as well today. So to help us find the breath, we're going to take the hands. We're just going to rest them just on the navel area or just slightly above. So it's not too low down. And the fingers are just, you can have the middle fingers just facing in, touching in towards each other. Shoulders stay nice and relaxed. And we're going to start to focus the breath into this area. So using where your hands are, direct this breath into this place. So feeling that gentle rise and fall, but remember you don't want it too forceful. It's not forceful. You've still got that feeling of softness, but at the same time expansion. This is the first part, the bottom of the lungs, where we're starting to breathe. Just a few more breaths from here. And then we're going to move into the second part where we're going to breathe. So that's going to be around the rib cage area, the front of the body. So hands are going to start to move up slightly higher. So maybe just where the, underneath that rib cage or the bottom of it, fingers can be nice and relaxed. And then we're going to start to direct the breath into this place. And there might be one that you're finding that you've naturally connected to a bit more. Just be observant of that. And just start to feel maybe a little bit more expansion with the breath. But again, not forcing it. Don't let any tension creep into your shoulders or your jaw. Keep it nice and relaxed. Just allow that breath to flow in with the inhale. And feel it softening and release with your exhale. We'll spend a few more moments here. And then the third place where we're going to move our attention now is to the upper chest area. So your hands can just move. So roughly where your collarbones are here. Keep your shoulders nice and relaxed. And pay some attention as you direct the breath into this place. You will automatically move it into the others. But you're starting to find the end of that breath as well. We're starting to expand into that top area. So don't let any tension creep in. Just feeling that expansion. That gentle rise and fall of the breath. And this area often comes in quite handy as well when we come to our twists, when we feel a little maybe restricted in some of our poses with our breath, that we find that we have to use a different part of our body and our breath to expand more into that pose. Couple more breaths from here. Then we're going to put those three together. So we're going to take the right hand and we're going to just take that back to that first place. So that navel area. And you can keep your left hand where it is to the top part of the chest. It might help you when we breathe through these three areas. So as you breathe in, starting from the abdomen area, moving up to the rib cage, moving up to the chest. You might pause for a moment. And then as we exhale, we're softening through the chest, the rib cage and the abdomen. So again, inhaling in the abdomen, the rib cage and the chest. And exhaling, chest, rib cage, abdomen. Do one more with you. So inhaling, abdomen, rib cage, chest. You can pause there. Exhaling, chest, rib cage, abdomen. Just do a couple more on your own, and remember, if you're forcing it at all, let go of any force, any strain. You want to just feel that this breath is quite free. It's allowed to just flow without no strain, no effort, so that you get the full benefit of this breathing practice. So if it feels good, just for the last couple, release your hands, but continue to breathe this way. Hands are great as they help us direct that breath a bit more, but hopefully now we can feel it without the hands. Make this your last one from here. And then just completely let go of that breath. So that's the 3-part breath, a really good one to do. Just hug the knees in towards the chest and just have a gentle rock so that you're giving some attention to your back from here. And then release the legs. You can go back to either lengthening them or you can go back to bending the legs. We'll take a nice full inhale as we bring your hands away from you. You can point the toes and then press the heels out. And then breathing out, hug the knees in towards the chest. We'll do that a couple more times. Inhale, stretch away. You can press your heels away, spread the toes. And then breathing out, hug the knees in towards the chest. 2 more. Use your inhale as you extend the legs away. Really reach your fingertips away from you. And breathing out, draw the knees in towards the chest. I think that's one more to do. Inhale, lengthen the legs, lengthen the arms away, spread the fingers, spread the toes. And breathing out, release the arms down and just have a nice, just release from side to side. We're going to take your feet as wide as your mat, either cactus in the arms or take the arms out to the side. And working with our breath just for our twist, we'll inhale, and as we breathe out, knees drop to the right, head turns to the left. And as soon as we inhale, we bring our head and our knees back to the centre. And as soon as we breathe out, knees drop to the left, head turns to the right. Inhale, coming back. Breathing out, knees to the right, head to the left. We'll do a couple more. Inhale, head, the knees to the centre. Breathing out, head to the left, head to the right, knees to the left. Yeah, just do one more either side from here, working with your breath. To get a really nice release on your back from here. It's quite nice using these as an opportunity just to ease into the body first of all. Coming back to the centre, let your arms come down by the sides of the body. Take your feet in a little bit closer and we'll prepare for our floating bridge. So arms down by the sides of the body. So we're going to think today about easing into the spine rather than coming straight into our full extreme. So inhale, lifting up from here. And then breathing out, easing back down. So keep the first few really gentle. Inhale, lifting up. So we're not coming up to our full extreme. Just a little bit gentle first. Exhale to lower down. And you're going to continue to do this. Each time, if it works, start to lift up just a tiny bit higher. So we're doing it, starting to create more space around the spine by just easing maybe a little bit higher each time. If you've already found your fullest expression of the pose, then that is absolutely fine. Just stay there every time that you come up. If you're still working to come up a little bit higher, then carry on doing that. And then the next time that we lift up, we're going to find this is our fullest expression of our posture today. It might be different every day. And then we're either going to keep the arms down or we're going to lift the arms. Just have a moment to reach up with the fingertips. And then if the shoulders allow us to do so, take your arms behind you into this lovely V shape. Fingers gently stretching back at the same time, engaging the legs, working those muscles in the fronts of the thighs so that we stay really grounded with our feet. And then releasing the arms, tilt the pelvis forward, and as slow as you can, allow yourself to find each bit of the spine, each bit of your vertebrae coming down until that very, very last bit. And then hug the knees in, have a gentle rock from side to side. And then your way of coming up, either dropping over to one side, pressing up, or rocking backwards and forwards from here. And we'll come into a nice all fours position. So lots of lovely work on the spine today. And hopefully by the end of the class, you'll feel a bit more expansive, maybe even a little bit taller. So many people say that at the end of the class. So hands, we'll do some seated cat stretches first. Hands are resting on the knees. We're going to take an inhale, lift in the chest. You can start to lift the chin if it feels all right. And then exhale, gently press into the hands, rounding over. You can take some weight back from here. Inhale as we start to send the chest forward, as we start to lift the chin if it feels all right. And then exhale, rounding over, draw the navel in. 2 more. Inhale to lift all that lovely space we're working towards creating. Breathing out, rounding over. Last seated cat stretch. Inhale to lift up. We're really using our breath today. And exhale to round over. And then just coming all the way back to an all fours position. And hopefully you already feel that. It feels quite good on your back. So releasing any tension, any tightness. We're going to work our first seated twist. We're going to stay for a few extra moments in that twist because we're going to be focusing on our breath. So when we come to our twist, every time that we inhale, we're going to focus on our spine lengthening more. Every time that we exhale, we're going to feel we either stay in there or release a bit further into the twist. So we'll go the right side, left hand goes onto the right knee, right hand comes behind, either up onto the fingertips or hand onto the block, just so that you're not leaning back into that hand. Come back to the centre, inhale, lifting up, and exhale, twisting from that torso towards that right side. So be very aware of your head while you're here. You don't want to drop the chin or you don't want to lift it. The chin is nice and parallel towards the earth. So we're going to think about our breath now. With every inhale, we're going to visualise or feel that spine lengthening more. And with every exhale, maybe we find a subtle movement to release into that twist. Inhale, we think about lengthening the spine more. And then every exhale, maybe we release a tiny bit more into that twist. Couple more from here. Use your inhale to lengthen your spine more. And exhale, feel that release into that twist. Last one with your inhale to lengthen the spine. And exhale, release into that twist. And then come back to the centre. Just notice, how does that feel on your back? Hopefully that feels really good. I can feel it already. When we spend longer in it, they can have different effects to poses. So your right hand's going to go on your left knee. Left hand's going to come behind. Either those fingers again. Remember, you don't want to be leaning back. If you're leaning back, you're not going to be able to lengthen your spine. So inhale, lifting up nice and tall. And then exhale, twisting from our torso towards that left side. So make sure that you're not lowering your chin or you're not lifting the chin. The chin is parallel towards the earth. You haven't got to turn the head too far. So with every inhale, visualise or really feel that the spine is starting to lengthen. And with every exhale, maybe you release a bit more into that twist. It can be a very subtle movement. Inhale, feel the spine lengthening. Exhale, feel that further release in towards that twist. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, release into the twist. Last breath from here. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to release. So just pause there just for a moment. And then slowly release. And notice how that actually feels on your back. How does that feel? Does it feel that there's more space? That's what we're trying to create, just this feeling of opening, getting into any tight spots that you might have been holding tension or even stress. So when you're ready, give the legs a nice stretch away and let your legs release. You're just going to come into our staff pose, Dandasana, while we're here. Hands are down by the sides of the body or your fists, and what you're doing is you want to be gently pressing in towards the earth. You want to be lengthening your spine. You're going to let your crown of the head first of all go up towards the sky, and then think about very slowly just A very small movement where we tuck the chin in ever so slightly, only to the point that you feel the neck is really lengthened. And all we're going to do is hold it here for a few breaths. You can think about spreading the toes. The backs of the legs might gently be pressing down. You're creating a really nice feeling of space in the back. Don't let your shoulders lift. Let your shoulders move back and down. A few more breaths. If you're really working it, you might experience movement, trembling, shaking. Absolutely fine. And then slowly release. Another great one for creating all this great space in our spine. So let yourself roll over and we'll come all the way onto the all fours from here. And let your hands really spread from here. Knees underneath your hips. And then we're going to tuck the toes under to press up into our first downward dog. And for the first one, just allow yourself to walk out through the heels. So starting to stretch the legs from here. And then bring the weight back towards the heels. Let your legs bend for a moment. So as you let your legs bend, really lengthen and expand out into your back muscles. And then think about keeping this lovely length as you lift your sit bones a little bit higher towards the sky. And then you can think about taking weight back towards your heels. Nice long neck from here. Oh, that lovely space you're getting around your back. It's wonderful for your back. And then bending the legs, coming all the way back down to the all fours. So we're going to come into our child's pose. So often the way we come into different poses can have a different effect on what we're achieving to feel. Sometimes we come into a child's pose just to purely relax. Today, if you can, we want to think about the arms, so getting stretch and getting space in the back. So you're going to come down to four. You might need to separate your knees slightly if that's going to give you more space. You're going to come forward. You're going to use something if you need to support the head. But with our hands today, you're going to come up onto the fingers. You're going to walk your fingers away from you so you get a really nice stretch, and then you can press the whole hand down from here. But you can keep the rest of the arm lifted so you're getting a really, really good stretch. If at any point that you do need to soften, if you need to release the arms, if you need to move them in, we always listen to that. If it feels an option today, just feel this really nice space. And we're going to take a visualisation while we're here. So as you breathe in, visualise this breath moving up your spine from here. And then as you breathe out and feel that breath moving down, softening your hips. Inhale, feel that breath moving up. And then breathing out, feel some more weight going back towards your heels. One more full breath, feel it into the back. And then last breath, releasing breath, feel your hips releasing. Good, and then lifting your head slowly, releasing all the way back. So that is a good one. If you lift the arms and if you stretch away, you're going to get a really nice stretch into the arms. So we're back to the all fours. We're going to work our balance position from here. So wrists underneath the shoulders, really nice spread hands to distribute that energy nice and freely. Right leg is going to lift and we're going to give that right leg a really good stretch away from us. And we're just going to focus on that leg first of all, give it a really good stretch. Now it's your choice in this one. I quite prefer to spread the toes and have the toes down, but if you want to point the toes, that's absolutely fine. It's a preference in this pose. Navel draws in. If it's an option for the arms, the right arm lifts and we'll give that arm a really good stretch from here. And what you're aiming to do in this one, in today's practice, is creating as much length as you can. So you're stretching your back leg away and really stretching into that. And at the same time, you're stretching your right arm away, creating lovely length. And then slowly releasing, hand down. You can release the toe down and you can draw your knees back. So really good. So we're going to now do it on the other side. left leg stretches away and give it a really good stretch. You can start to draw that navel in and really focus on that leg first of all. You want to stretch it as far as you can. We're not lifting the hip too much, so you want your hips to stay pretty much even. And then we'll think of lifting the right arm. You can either keep it down or stretch that right arm away from you. You can have the fingers pointing forward, palming towards you. And you want to think about length. So you're stretching that arm away. You're stretching back into that leg. You're creating this diagonal stretch, as much stretch and length in the body as you can. And then releasing down. Toes come down. Knees come back. We're going to sink back into the child. By all means, if your hands are getting tired, you can release them into that position, or if you want to come into that nice stretch again, that active, more of an active position in child's pose, walk your fingers away, press into the hands, shoulder width or a little bit wider actually than shoulder width, and then lifting your arms away from the floor, and then getting that really nice stretch from here. Just hold it there a few more breaths, and then press up into the all fours. We'll have our second downward dog from here. So tuck the toes under, lift the knees away from the floor and send some weight back towards the heels. Again, if it works, bend the legs and think about really expanding and opening up into the back of the body. You can keep the legs bent for a moment. Just start to lift your sit bones a little bit more higher towards the sky. And then from here, you can start to lengthen the legs again. Press the heels down from here. And the feeling that you want to feel in this position is if someone was lifting you up from your trousers, that kind of feeling. That's what you want to be feeling in that downward dog position. Slowly lower back down to the floor. Untuck the toes. Going to walk your hands forward and slowly lower all the way down to the floor. So we're going to work into back bends, wonderful for creating really good openness and length in your spine. We'll work in cobra or sphinx, and we'll work the same way like when we did that bridge, that we come up just a bit first and then each time we come up a little bit higher. It's a really nice way to work. So either sphinx pose, arms wide, or if you're working cobra today, hands underneath the shoulders. Keep your feet a little way apart and legs just to create all that space in the spine. And then you're looking down. So we'll use an inhale to lift up. If you're doing cobra, it might just be the head and chest first. And then lower down. And then inhale, lifting up. Maybe you work it into more of a baby cobra this time. And lower down. If you're working with sphinx, absolutely just work with that as well. Inhale, we're lifting up. If we're doing cobra, we might be lifting a little bit higher this time. And then using that exhale to lower down. So we're using our breath while we're here. Inhale, we can start to lift out a little bit higher. Exhale to lower down. So we're not forcing the back, we're more easing into it. We'll do a couple more. If you've already come to your extreme of the posture, the fullest posture, don't come any more than that. Breathe in now, lower down. Make this your last one, so your fullest expression of your pose today. Once you're there, you can hold it for a few breaths, either your cobra or your sphinx, and enjoy allowing your chest and your heart to expand, and at the same time creating this lovely back bend. Great, and then slowly lower all the way back down. Hands underneath the shoulders, press up, tuck the toes under, and we'll come again to our downward dog. We'll just hold it here this time for a few nice breaths. And we're going to take the right leg away from us, 3-leg dog, lengthen that leg away. You're going to bend your right leg and you're going to step it in between the hands. You're going to soften your back knee down to the floor. Those of you, if you're unable to come to your knee today, swap it over, come to your warrior one position. Pad that back knee if you need to. If you need your hand today on a block or a brick for your twist, then just grab it ready. Going to lift up from here. You're going to raise the arms first of all and just create as much space as you can as you think about today. Reaching your fingers up, feeling your lengthening as much as you can into your side body. Releasing down from here. So we'll come to our twist. So our left hand's going to come underneath the shoulder down to the floor or your block. If you're using a brick or a block today, feel free to use that. Right hand's going to start to turn onto that hip as we twist. If it's an option, we can raise the arm from here. If you feel okay, toes tucked, and we start to lift from here. We're going to use our breath while we're here. So as you inhale, you can think about just this length that we're creating in the body, extending out through the crown of the head. And as we breathe out, easing into that twist. So the inhale, we're starting to expand. Exhale, finding that twist. If your head's getting tired, you can always look down from here. Last one. And then slowly releasing down. You can release the block, you can take the hands either side of the foot, and you can bring your knees back together. We'll press up into downward dog again for a few breaths. So this time it's your left leg's going to lengthen into your 3-leg downward dog. Take a moment to really stretch that leg out. Bring some energy into that leg. That knee can bend, and we're going to step that foot in between the hands. You're going to lower that back knee to the floor. You can release that front foot. Or lift up. You can swap yourself to a warrior one if that's a better option today. We're going to raise up. We're going to reach the fingers up nice and tall. Stay rooted with the front foot, and also think about your back foot. But keep trying to lengthen into the sides of the body. Try to draw your navel in and lengthen your tailbone to create steadiness and support for your back. And then slowly releasing down. So this time it's going to be your right hand is going to come underneath your shoulder, or if you need to use your block, you can use your block. Left hand will come to the hip as we draw the navel in and we twist towards that left side. We can extend up with the arms. We can tuck the back toe under if that was an option to lift the back knee away. And we'll use our breath while we're here. So as we inhale, we'll think about expanding up into that top hand and extending out through the crown of the head. And then breathing out, easing into that twist. Inhale, think about pressing out with the fingers, extending out through the crown of the head. Exhale, feeling that release. One more time as you inhale, really press up with the fingertips. Exhale, feeling that lovely twist. And then slowly releasing that hand back down. You can tuck the toes of that back foot and we'll step your feet forward from here. Hands on the hips, and we'll lift ourselves all the way up to standing. We're going to take a moment to think about our posture as we come to Tadasana, mountain pose. So you're going to separate your feet from here, and you can take them hip distance apart or slightly wider. Draw your shoulders up to the ears, and then roll your shoulders back and down. Let your fingers extend down, let your palms just gently half face forward. You're going to start to just feel rooting down with your legs and your feet, feel your contact with the earth. Gently draw up through, engage your thigh muscles. Start to gently engage your navel. Feel a gentle lengthen of your tailbone. Be aware of your chest. Feel this openness, this space in your chest. We're going to hold it here for a few more breaths. Be aware of this lovely line of energy that's running up and down the spine. And then lastly, think about the crown of your head that's extending up to the sky. For the last few moments, keeping hold of all that, just focus on your breath. And then slowly let your eyes blink open and release. So that alone is wonderful for feeling space expansion in the body from here. We're going to work a few of our half forward fold lifts just to do that forward fold movement and get a nice stretch. So you can take your feet hip distance apart from here. Inhale, lifting up the arms. You can look up towards the sky. Exhale, soften the knees, coming forward from here. Halfway lift, so hands rest on the fronts of the shins as we inhale halfway to look up. And exhale, soften and fold. Inhale to soften the knees as we lift up. Exhale, hands towards the chest. We'll do one more, we'll stay down. Inhale to lift up. Exhale, open up the arms as we come into our forward fold. Inhale, lifting up halfway. Exhale, soften and fold. And we'll do that half bit a couple more times while we're here now. So inhale, lifting up halfway. Exhale, soften and fold. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale, lifting up halfway. Exhale, soften and fold. It hopefully feels really nice. One more. Inhale, lifting up halfway. Exhale, soften and fold. And then we'll spend a few breaths from here. You can either fold the arms, or you might, if you're quite low, take the back of the hands down to the floor, fingers pointing in. So you can really soften your shoulders. Let your sit bones be the highest thing to lift from here. And then let your hands come to your hips. Draw the navel in. Start to lift up, lengthen into the chest. Start to lift up as the spine lengthens. And we'll come all the way back to standing. We'll come back to the front. We'll take the feet a few inches apart, or you can take them wider if you do need to. Interlock the fingers from here, and we're going to press your palms away from you. You're going to take a nice stretch to lift up from here. If it's not possible to keep the hands in this position, if it's going to hurt the shoulders, then just release them, have the palms facing in. You're going to press into the feet, draw into the navel, take a really good full breath while you're here. And as you breathe out, we're going to side bend stretch over towards that right side. Press down with the legs, draw into the navel. Don't let that top arm move forward. And then slowly inhale, come back to the centre. As we breathe out, we'll go one side over towards that left side. You want to continue to press into the feet. You want to continue to draw into the navel. Nice, long, slow breaths. And then inhale, come back to the centre. Releasing the hands, slowly let the arms release down. Hands can come to the hips, and we're going to open out our feet into Trikonasana, triangle feet. So we'll turn the right foot out first of all, and the left foot in slightly. Release the ups, extend out with the arms, palms down, looking over towards that right side. Inhale, and as we breathe out, we're reaching, we're stretching. We're going to spend just a moment. Don't look at that leg, but you want to lengthen as much as you can. When you can't go anymore, bottom hand comes down lightly, and we're going to extend up with that top one. So your choice, either looking up or keeping the gaze down or forward. You're going to think about every time that you inhale, extending out a bit more with the fingers. With the exhale, you can think about drawing into that navel. Inhale to lift up. Exhale, press into the feet, draw into the navel. Last one, nice full expression of the pose. And then we'll gaze down from here, soften that front leg, lifting up. Come all the way up, hands replaced to the hips, feet to the front. We'll do that the same on the other side. So left foot turns out, right foot moves in slightly. We're going to open up the arms again. We're going to gaze towards that left side. Inhale, and as we breathe out, we're going to stretch over towards that left side. When we can't go anymore, Bottom hand's going to come down. Top hand either on the hip and revolve back that shoulder, or lifting that arm all the way up. We're going to draw into the navel, root down with the feet. Every time that we inhale, we're going to think about reaching up more with the fingertips of that top arm. As you breathe out, root down with the feet, draw into the navel. Inhale, think about lifting up with your fingertips. Exhale, press your feet down as you breathe out. Last time, inhale, expanding into the top fingers. Exhale, draw that navel in, root down. Gaze down from here, we'll soften the knees and we'll come all the way up from here. Feet to the front and release the hands. We're going to take the feet a little bit wider this time so that we have got more room now when we come into our warrior, and we'll work into our side bend, extended side stretch. Hands on the hips, your right foot turns out. Keep your left foot forward this time. Raise the arms, gazing over towards that right side. Inhale, and as you breathe out, we're going to bend into that knee. We're going to hold warrior for a few breaths. Reach out with both hands, nice and evenly. Reach down with both feet. So you've got even weight on the feet, even weight stretching out with the arms. Bend your right hand, rest it on the thigh. You can bend lower if you want to. Raise that top arm up. If you're able to, take that top arm up and over. And you're going to think about every inhale, just expanding more into the fingertips, pressing into that back foot. So you breathe out, draw into that navel. You want a really nice energy that goes from that left foot all the way out to that left arm. We'll look down, use your arms to lift all the way up, feet to the front, release your hands. Hands can come back to the hips. We'll turn your left foot out, right foot forward. We'll reach out with the arms, gazing over to that left side. Inhale, and as you breathe out, we're bending into that left leg for our warrior. We're making sure that we take enough weight back so that each foot feels like it's pressing evenly in towards the earth. Same with the fingers. Use the same amount of energy to extend out with your arms, left and right. And think about every time that you inhale, extend out with the arms a bit more. As you exhale, root down with the feet a bit more. Couple more breaths. We're creating all this lovely space expansion. So your left arm is going to bend this time. You can bend that leg more if you need to. Rest it on the thigh. Right hand comes onto the hip. We'll revolve, open that shoulder. We can keep it here, or we'll raise that arm up. Palm faces towards us. We'll take that top arm up and over. So while we're here, we're going to think about inhale. We're going to press down with that back foot and extend out with the arm. As you inhale, draw into that navel. Inhale, extending out with that arm, press down with that right foot. Exhale, draw into the navel. One more. Inhale to lift. Exhale, draw into that navel. Gaze down, we'll use your arms to lift up. Feet to the front and slowly release the hands. So lots of good leg work today. We're going to take a couple of breaths coming into our 5 pointed style. So from here you can keep the legs. So what you want when you take the arms out, your wrists are, your ankles are roughly just underneath the wrists from here. If it's too wide, then just take everything a bit shorter. Feet to the front, extending out with the arms. So we're going to think about, for a moment, just pressing down with the feet as we draw up with the kneecaps and we engage with our navel to allow ourselves to press down with the feet. We're going to think about extending out with the fingers as we soften the shoulders. And we think about extending up with the crown of the head. And then we'll add it to our breath from here. So we'll inhale, soften the knees slightly as you breathe into the belly. And as you breathe out, press down with the feet, press out with the hands, extend out with the crown of the head. Inhale, you can breathe into the belly, slightly soften. Breathing out, press down with the feet, extend out with the arms, extend up with the crown of the head. 2 more times. Inhale, fully into the belly. And then breathing out, press into the feet, extend out with the arms, extend up with the crown of the head. Last one, inhale, breathe into the belly. Exhale, press out with the hands, press down with the feet, extend out with the crown of the head. And then slowly release the hands. Heel, toe, the feet back together. And then come all the way back to standing. I'm going to come forward from here. So we're going to take a nice inhale. We're going to raise the arms up and bring the palms together. You can even look up if your neck is allowing you to do this today. Soften the knees, breathing out, starting to come forward. Halfway lift, so hands go on the thighs. Inhale, lifting halfway, really let your spine lengthen. And then exhale, soften and fold. We'll do that 2 more times with that halfway lift. Inhale, coming up halfway. Exhale, soften and fold. Last time, inhale, coming up halfway. Exhale, soften and fold. Take a moment to really release into that forward fold. Shake your head, nod your head and neck stays nice and relaxed. And then slowly bending the legs, coming all the way back down to the floor. So we're going to finish off with one more seated twist, a half Lord of the Fish pose, which is going to be really good. I've done some really nice hip work as well through our Trikonasana, through our standing postures to hopefully release the hip a little bit more. So legs extend out from here. I'm going to bend the right leg from here. And we're going to take that foot, if it works, across the other leg. We've done this a few times. If it's an option for you, wrap your leg around. Let the sit bones sit in between the heels. And draw yourself up nice and tall. We're going to spend a few extra breaths like we did at the beginning in that seated twist here. Just move over so you can see me properly. If you need a block to place on the hands, then have it there. Try not to lean into the hands. So you're lifting up from here. You're going to raise it will be your left arm from here. And then as you breathe out, you're going to start to bend the arm. You're going to take the other hand, right hand's behind you, and either take your elbow to the outside or hugging the thigh is an option. And we're going to use that breath what we've been thinking about. So you're going to take a nice full inhale. Try and lengthen your spine. And as you exhale, maybe ease a bit more into that twist. Inhale, so you're lifting up, you're lengthening up. And exhale, easing into that twist. Inhale to lift up. Exhale to ease into that twist. And we're just going to hold it here for a few breaths now. And while you're here, just think about not dipping the chin. Let it stay parallel towards the earth. Think about your 3-part breath while you're here. So you might think about, you need that breath a little bit more around your upper chest area. If you're still in it, just stay there a few more moments. Great, and then release from here. Just take a nice easy counter pose, twist to that other side. And then coming back to the centre. Releasing, extending out that leg. And then we'll do the same on the other side. I'll turn so you can see a bit better from here. So it's going to be your left leg is going to bend this time. And you can take it over that foot. Next option, if you did it on the other one, bring that leg back. It's okay if you can't. You can still do exactly the same with that other leg lengthened. Let your spine draw up nice and tall from here. You're going to raise your right arm, so take a really nice stretch from here. Breathing out, bending that arm, and your left arm comes behind you. We're not leaning on it. It's there to help us to sit up nice and tall. So we're going to take a nice inhale to lengthen the spine. And then exhale, easing into that twist. Twists are so good to do. Inhale to lift up. Exhale, ease into that twist. Last one from here. Inhale to lengthen up. exhale to ease into that twist. Going to hold it here for a few moments. Make sure that back shoulder's not lifted. Make sure that you haven't dropped the chin from here. It's parallel towards the earth. And then releasing, coming back to the centre. Nice easy counter twist to the other side. And then come back to the centre. Release the legs and roll yourself all the way down to the floor from here. Letting your legs lengthen or keeping the legs bent. Move your arms a little away from the body so that you feel really nice space underneath the armpits. Chest is nice and relaxed, eyes are closed. And just pause in that stillness that you've created. Maybe you feel all that energy that you've created in your postures today. You might sense it, you might actually feel it, be aware of it, tune into it as you let yourself just be still. Let the body really soften down, let it relax. Switch off any muscles that you've been holding, let them soften. Face stays nice and relaxed from here. And we're letting go of that control of the breath now. Just letting that breath just feel ever so gentle. And just feeling that natural rhythm of every inhale and exhale. The body knows what to do. At this point, we haven't got to control that breath. We can just let that go now. Just for a few more moments, keep that focus just to the rise and fall of your breath. Start to be aware of your breath again. If you need extra time, then just pause this and take as much time as you need to now relax. But if you're ready to start to wake the body up, take a few fuller breaths in and out through the nose. Wriggle the fingers, wriggle the toes, stretch the arms away from you. Press your heels away, spread the toes, feel that waking up of the body. Let your knees draw in towards the chest. Take a gentle rock from side to side. Rolling over onto the right side. And slowly ease your way all the way up into a nice, easy seated position. Take a moment just to find that lovely posture of your spine now. Just rest the hands wherever it's natural to do. And take a few moments to let your crown of the head be extending up towards the sky. And the other force, that downward energy, let yourself just feel your sit bones with the earth. Feel the front of the body open, and now just focus on your spine. Feel all this wonderful energy that you've created today through your twists, through forward folds, through side stretching as well. It makes us feel good when we can stretch out like this, when we can really stay connected to the body and the breath in our yoga postures. It really does have a good positive effect on the mind. So hopefully you can take all this really good energy into the rest of your day with you. Just take a nice inhale, raise the arms, let them come up above the head, bring the palms together. Just take a few moments as we breathe from here. And then a nice full inhale, and as we breathe out, bring your hands down towards the chest. Take a soft bow, feeling that connection that we have towards our heart space. Very softly let the eyes blink open. And inhale, lifting your head, lifting your heart. Namaste. I hope that you enjoyed that, and hopefully that you do feel a little bit taller now. Let me know any questions, any feedback. I'd love to hear. Take care and see you soon.